Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, maybe the moment of truth is here and now, and that is Poland might get what it wants. Maybe, I don't know, smack the Russians a little bit around, because whatever happens in Belarus, provocation, not provocation, they definitely are very active. I'm talking about the Poles. And the Russians are eager as well to get in a fight with the Poles, as the Poles are eager to get in a fight with, I would say, anybody around them. Hey, that's my interpretation of facts based on history and knowing a few things. Don't believe me? No problem. So what happens here? Putin threatens Poland, says or warns it. It says, if you have one act of aggression directed towards Belarus, that means you are attacking us. Therefore, we're going to... And the Poles are, yes, we do. They're both eager. So maybe they're going to get at it. The problem is, the way I see it, the Russians will not have the same patience, I would say, that they have with Ukraine in dealing with Poland. So let me show you here two articles, and they're self-explanatory, at least the titles. Reuters: Putin tells Poland any aggression against Belarus is attack on Russia. Yeah, I think that was clear from the very beginning. July 21st. So he accused NATO member Poland of having territorial ambitions in the former Soviet Union and said, no, it's in Ukraine, let's put it directly, and said an aggression against Russia's neighbor and close ally Belarus will be considered an attack on Russia. Moscow would react to any aggression against Belarus, which forms a loose union state with Russia, with all the means at our disposal. What they tell you? They will not have any patience, Putin told a meeting of the Security Council in televised remarks. That means nuclear weapons, all the means, basically. And I'm pretty sure they will use them. I am 99% certain about that one. I hope the Poles just back the fuck up and say, wait, what's going on? The Poles did not do anything. Well, okay, we're going to talk about that. The Telegraph, the same. Putin warns Poland. An attack on Belarus is an attack on Russia. So, they say the same thing right here. And what happened? It says, he added, but Belarus is a part of the Union state. Unleashing aggression against Belarus will mean aggression against the Russian Federation. We will respond to this with all the means at our disposal. So, let's start chronologically. Do you want to start with the Slavic tribes moving into Europe? You want to start that? Or no? We go to what? The 5th century or something? 6th century? We're going about that? 4, 5, 6? We want to go that? Okay, so we're not going to start with that one. We're not going to start with year 1000. We're not going to start with 1500. We're going to start with, let's say, Second World War. After the Second World War, obviously, Poland was given parts of Germany according to the Russians, and obviously Gdansk and Prussia was given to them, and certain areas of Poland were given to Soviet Union, now in the territory of Ukraine. So Ukraine has some Polish, they call it historical territories, that's how the Poles are calling them. And then I'm talking about Lviv, that area. So the Poles want that. Make no mistake about that. The Pole who doesn't want that, I think, is not a patriotic Polish citizen. Talk to them and ask them, the ones that know something about their history, and say, how about those guys? You want them back? No, we don't want them. So anyway, so that's what it is with that thing. In a history over there, as I always say, it's a lot of overlapping of territories. I take your territory, and then next decade you take my territory, and vice versa. The history between Russia, all those guys, Russia, Poland, Lithuania, are very, very unfriendly. Let's put it mildly unfriendly. You take a Second World War, invasion of the Soviet Union, but the problem is you can't say Soviet Union, Russia, because if you say Soviet Union, Russia, then you say Soviet Union, Ukraine. Ukraine was part of Russia too. And there were many Ukrainians, they were in the leadership positions of the Soviet Union, the communists, okay? So put that to the side. And you can get the Lithuanians, Estonians, and Latvians as well then. So that's another thing. The point is here, what happened? When Russia and Ukraine, just the two countries, got in a little thing called war, right? And the Russians decided to unprovoked and unprovokedly invade Ukraine. Poland jumped on the wagon and started saying this and this and that. They were waiting for it. And all of a sudden, they love Ukrainians. They don't love Ukrainians. If you think they love Ukrainians, okay, I think they don't. And Ukrainians, I know they don't love Poles, neither Russians. But anyway, move on. So this guy said, well, we're going to provide you with everything. And the Poles provided Ukraine with everything because most deliveries coming to Ukraine come through Poland. So Poland was very eager beaver. The Russians could not hit Poland because Poland supposedly was not somehow involved. In my books, Poland is an active participant in a war, as the West it is. You supplied my enemy with one bullet, you are part of the war. That's how I see it, and I'm pretty sure the Poles will use the same definition if they would be, they would be in a war with someone else, and that someone else would receive weapons from someone else. Would say, you are an active participant, you. But somehow here, no. So the Russians are waiting for the Poles are waiting for the Russians. And we have the Belarusians in between. And let me show you here what's going on. We have a little map here of Europe. And you can see where Poland is. Poland is right here with green grass of home. And here you have Ukraine in yellow and Belarus in this purple rain thing, okay? And here Russia in red wine. So we have all these guys here. Oops, no, we don't want that. Ready, but I don't like that little thing over there. So nevertheless, we gotta work with it. So these guys here, Belarus got Wagner troops in, okay? And they're gonna train right here. They're gonna have some training right here, close to the Polish border. Poland, obviously, and for good reason, brought some troops over here. You never know, these crazies, which is legitimate. But legitimate for these guys as well, to do whatever they want on their territory. Right? But these guys say, well, you are escalating. No, you are escalating. We should not forget that the Poles put a lot of troops here at the border with Belarus because they tried to protect their territory for good reason and legitimate against these guys allowing the migrants crossing and all that. All right, so that's already over there. It's a little tensed situation, to put it this way. Now, if something happens here at this little border, and I suspect it will happen, that's my little suspicion will be that something happens. The Russians, which are the red wine, will help the purple rain against the green grass of home. So that's what's going to happen, my friends. And Ukraine is right here, ready for, I don't know, gonna in here or not. The problem is these guys, as they said, with all the means at our disposal. So that's stranger danger. That's a very dangerous situation, and I am 99% certain that the Russians will use all they have at their disposal, and I'm 99.9% certain that everybody else in the West, including Poland, knows that. So they are in a very dangerous situation here. I hope nothing happens, but I have a gut feeling that will happen. And there would be someone who will shoot something on the other side. These guys will say, oh, you shoot at us. It's going to be a little splendid war, as this guy said of the American-Spanish War. Remember, I think it was Roosevelt, the first one, Teddy Roosevelt, who said, a splendid little war of Spanish. The Havana blow up in the port of Havana, Cuba. An American vessel had an explosion. It was the Spaniards. We're going to attack them and we're going to take Cuba. Nice little splendid war. Okay, that's how we started. So the same here. It's going to be a nice little splendid scuffle at the border. Or if you want me to use something else, remember the American-Mexican War. American blood was spilled on whatever. Remember that one? When there was a little scuffle at the border on the Rio Grande that was disputed between Mexico and the United States. Remember that one? No? And there was a little scuffle and then Americans said, blood was spilled on our territory. It was not your territory, it was disputed, but nevertheless. And they said, let's go. It's only rock and roll. And they got half of Mexico that right now we own. But hey, things will happen. Remember, Aslan is at work. And La Raza. They are working, but these guys are, no problem, not for long. They are working, digging. That's it, my friends. I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be military escalation over there. That's my interpretation of this. And Putin is serious about it, and the Poles know that he is serious. Why? Because of the love between the two. And they're like, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.